We're set. We're going.
И если, может быть, прямо немножечко кресло туда можно подвинуть, чуть-чуть.
Колись ближе.
Да. Ага. Вот так, идеально, по-моему. We will just, so they're closer, and center.
All of a sudden she's become
No, that's
the director.
that's perfect.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. That's good. Oh.
It stopped? No.
No, I think they've stopped. Okay. Go ahead.
So, Yelena, I understand that your husband doesn't want to proceed with your adjustment of status application anymore, and he's threatening to withdraw the application.
That's correct. That's according not even to my husband, but I haven't talked to him ever since the last time I saw him. But according to his family, that's what I've been told.
Okay, so let's try to see whether we can proceed with other alternatives, and I guess in your case that would only be the abuse spouse petition. I'm going to ask you some questions, and let's try to determine, whether we can qualify you for this one. So, how long have you been married?
We've been married for 6 months.
For 6 months.
For 6 months.
So it's only 6 months of marriage. And how long have you been in a relationship with him?
We've been dating for a year prior to the wedding.
For 1 year. And how old are you and how old is your husband?
I'm 24 and he's 29.
Okay, so not that big of a age difference. And how did you guys meet?
We met through friends, through my friends, at the social event because he was interested in reading Russian literature. And my friend organizes this book study cases, and that's how he learned about it, and that's where we met.
So how did your relationship evolve? I mean, was it romantic, or was it, kind of suspicious from the very beginning? What happened?
We started out as friends. Just he was learning about Russian culture because he was interested in. And I learned that he actually visited Ukraine several years ago, and he was really interested in learning about literature. So, and he would call me and ask me questions, the suggestions of books that he might read.
Have you asked him why he traveled to Ukraine? Was it by any chance to look for a Russian wife?
I did ask him, and actually, in a joke way, he said that's what his professor said because he was taking a Russian course before going to Ukraine. So in a joke kind of way, he said, yeah, the professor suggested that he was gonna look for a Russian wife.
And was it the first marriage for both of you?
It was the first marriage.
So, after you guys got married, did you start to live together, or did you start to live together before you got married?
No, we started to live together after we got married.
After you got married. And did you have a big wedding?
We didn't have a big wedding, it was a small ceremony. But we were going to have a bigger wedding later on once we saved some money.
What about his relatives? What was their attitude towards your marriage and you?
His relatives live far away. His parents live in Minnesota, and his sister lives in Florida. And I've met them once while they were visiting here, and they, for some reasons, I don't know why, they chose not to come to this wedding that we had.
So they didn't come to your wedding?
They didn't come to the wedding. And
did it strike you as suspicious at that time?
It did, and my husband explained that it's okay because it's just the first wedding. We will have a ceremony, and then everybody will be invited.
And when you started living together, how was your life and how was your relationship?
In the beginning, everything was all right, but he was a quiet person, and he would never respond to anything basically whatsoever. He would agree with everything. So I didn't really understand whether he's okay with things or not, because he basically would never answer.
Did you ever observe him doing strange things, or did you observe any strange behavior, or do you know if he ever had any depressions or any mental problems?
He mentioned that in the last couple of years he observed changes in his behavior. He didn't care for social events that much anymore, and he didn't care about changing his clothes. He had his uniform that he would wear every day to work, and then I bought him a few new things. He said that he doesn't even care because something changed, and he didn't care about music or movies. That's what he said.
But did you try to fix the situation? Did you try to help him out mentally to get out of his depression, so to speak?
I did. I was trying to get him out more, trying to arrange events such as going hiking, for example, or having cookouts with friends.
And how did he react?
He was always quiet on them. He never talked to anybody, kind of just me. And
So, how did he treat you throughout the relationship?
On and off, it was like a roller coaster. It was good things, bad things, good things, bad things. The things that I didn't like is that he would constantly put me down, telling me that while I'm foreign, I don't know how things work in this country. That even though like I went to school and got a degree, he said it's worthless. Yet he didn't want me to continue the education. I don't know whether he wanted to be a housewife or I don't know. He would check my cell phone periodically to see who calls me, and if there is an unknown number, he would call it back to check who it was.
Do you think he was jealous? Did he have a reason to be jealous?
I asked him. He said he's not jealous. He just wants to know whom I'm talking to.
I understand that your relationship started to deteriorate gradually. So how did that happen?
He would complain that his problem was that he didn't have his close friends, so the only friend that he had was his mother. And he would tell me that she complains that he doesn't call her as often anymore as he used to. And he doesn't know how to fix it. So I just suggested calling her more often. And he
So how often did he call her, and do you know what they were talking about?
He would call her every evening, at least for an hour, and just basically would tell her how the day went from morning till night. Not just describing how his day went, but as well how my day went and all my schedules and engagements that I...
Well, it sounds to me that your relationship was not as bad. I mean, it was, well, it had some, ups and downs, maybe it wasn't perfect or it wasn't, you know, very passionate, so to speak, but I don't see any real bad things happening. And I understand that after you got married, after all, both of you did file the petition for a green card for you. So when did that happen, or like how long ago did that happen, and why he doesn't want to proceed with this anymore?
Filing the petition?
Yes.
We filed the petition, we got married in June,
Mhm.
and we filed the petition at the end of August.
Okay.
We,
So it means that it's
And-
about to be approved.
it's about to be approved, but
But what happened?
if I knew what happened, because it all came as a sudden shock, because
So what happened? Did he just, you know, tell you that he's not going to proceed with the application? Did something
he
happen
just- he
at
just-
home? Are
he
you still
just-
together? Are you still
we're
living
not
together?
together. He just abandoned the house,
Mhm.
and
Was it his house?
well, it was the marital house
Okay.
that he bought prior
Okay.
to us getting married.
Okay.
But what happened is that I came back home from work, and his parents told me that their son is going to file for divorce, and he is not going to continue with the petition anymore.
Mhm.
And all my attempts to contact him
Mhm.
basically failed, because his parents had total control of.
Mhm. But you said that his parents live far away.
They came to visit in the beginning
Mhm.
of December for Christmas holidays.
Okay. Okay. So who told you, his father or?
His mother did.
Okay, his mother did. So you came home and she was home herself? And
It
she
was
just
her
told you?
and her husband,
Okay.
my
Okay.
husband's dad.
Okay. And what happened afterwards?
I was trying to call my husband's phone to find him, and his sister picked up the phone and said that I should not call anymore because everything is over. But I finally convinced her to give the phone to my husband, and she did, and he was crying. And I asked him where he was, and he said that he's staying in a hotel close by. So I asked him to come downstairs and talk to me, and he said that he would. And then I was trying to leave the apartment, and his parents kind of blocked the door and pulled my hand, so I couldn't leave. And because of all the shock, I just fainted.
You just fainted?
I just fainted.
So did you fall down?
I fell down after I woke up. I don't know how much time passed, and they were just staring at me, and they just grabbed my keys and ran out.
So does your husband know about what happened?
I don't think so. I haven't talked to him ever since.
Okay. Well, it sounds very strange to me. Like I said, your life together was not very passionate, but all of a sudden he's moving out of your marital house and he's disappearing, and he's living in a hotel. Was there any particular reason this happened? Maybe something happened between the two of you? What
Nothing happened. I just think he was his decisions were controlled by his parents' decisions. That's my personal opinion on what happened.
Okay. But did you find, or did you notice any strange things about him, any strange behavior? Did he ever try to, well, you said that he was saying, you know, bad things about you, about your education, he was trying to put you down, but did he actually, did he ever physically abused you?
Several times when I would get upset on the things that, how he treated me. I would just prefer going to my room and, I would just sit there and, I would just cry. 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 I would just cry couple of times he followed me and he grabbed me and he would hold me, saying that just continue yelling and screaming for whatever reasons he did.
So can you tell me how many times it happened?
At least a couple of times a week.
Okay. You said he grabbed you. When he grabbed you, was it painful? Like how badly did he grab you?
It was painful, and I'm very small, and he's a bigger guy, so he would usually grab me by hand on my shoulders, and sometimes it would leave a mark.
Did you have any bruises after that?
I don't have bruises.
Okay. Did anything else happen?
He once we were redecorating the place, and we were painting, and
What were you painting?
we were painting the walls, and accidentally I touched his shirt, the paintbrush, and he got mad. He just pushed me away, and he's like, "Look what you're doing to my shirt." And my comment for, it's an old shirt and it's a shirt you're painting and it's gonna be dirty anyway. But he didn't say anything, he just turned around, but I did fall on the floor after he pushed me.
Okay. Did that happen in the beginning of your marriage, or did it happen
It was
just
we got married in June, we were painting in September.
in September? Okay. Did you try to do anything about this? Like, did it sound or did it look strange to you that a person, your husband, a man, is pushing you so that you're falling down because of a stupid shirt? Did it strike you as odd? Did you try to do anything? Did you try to talk to him or maybe to his parents?
I tried talking to him,
And what did he say?
and he said that it's normal, and
It's normal in the United States to do this?
he said it's a normal treatment towards a woman, and that if I don't do according to his say, like, I would deserve it.
Were there any witnesses to this event?
My sister.
Okay.
She was the one.
Would she be willing, if necessary, to provide
She-
an
she
affidavit
would,
yes, about it? Okay, okay. So, how did you feel about all this happening? You said that he was saying bad things about you, he was grabbing you, he pushed you one time that you fell down. Did you try to seek either psychological help or any other type of help, or did it concern you that he's treating you like this?
It concerned me, and I wanted to get help, but I didn't have any resources. By resources, I mean financial resources, because he was basically controlling all the income, his and mine. During the marriage, he would always ask me to give all my checks to him that he would deposit himself, and all these services that I wanted to try, and all I could find in the yellow pages of the internet, they were very expensive, and just couldn't afford it.
See, your case is very difficult, because I see that your husband was mistreating you, but it's not like, first of all, we don't have a lot of evidence of that, and the mistreatment itself didn't really rise to the level of per se abuse. So maybe you're not telling me all the details, and I'm pretty sure this is the case, because it's very difficult to get all the details in a half an hour time. But if
there is something I'm not really comfortable talking about. And
is it something sexually intimately
yes.
related? Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe you can't speak about it now, but you really have to consider talking about it. Maybe you can, think about it a little bit more and come here again and tell me about it, because it is very, very important to actually disclose all the facts, especially considering that we don't have any strong evidence about physical abuse. But I understand there was something else. We would need to present that, unfortunately. If you feel like you need psychological help, you can go to a psychologist and maybe have a few sessions with a psychologist. It would be very helpful if you get psychological evaluation about what happened to you and how did that influence you. So we would need to collect that evidence, and depending on how severe that side of your case is, we can determine what we can do, because on the facts here, it's just, it sounds like the marriage didn't work out. It's just there was a marriage, there was love. Apparently, if you got married and you filed an immigrant petition and everything was good, and you were doing all the house choirs together, and you were painting the walls and you were decorating the house, you were doing everything that any normal couple would do. But it's really we don't have any proof or any facts as to really bad things that he did to you. I understand he never locked you up, he never left you with no food or with no car or with no means to existence. He never really mistreated you to the point, unless you tell me otherwise, with the intimate part.
Well, a couple of times that I forgot to mention, I was homesick and I had a very high fever, and I called him at work that I can't even get up, and I need him to come and like at least bring me some medicine or taking me to the doctor. And what he answered is just he can't, he doesn't have time. He said it can't be that bad.
Well, so that you know, a husband as well as wife, they owe a duty of taking care of each other. So it's really, if something bad was to happen to you and he could have helped you but he didn't, then he could be held liable. So this is not even according to the law, this is not the right situation. I'm not talking about the moral side of it, which is very, very clear. But again, yes, it shows him as a bad person. What we need is him being not a bad person, but a terrible person, terrible, abusive animal. If he's not like that, if he wasn't really abusive and he was just, not treating you right, and according to modern standards, this is what is happening here. He's not treating you right from a moral standpoint, but we do not really go to the level of the real abuse where we would have a very, very strong case. So it's really, this case is really on the border, and later on we will discuss
the intimate part, I would say, is very strong.
It's very strong.
I don't think I'm comfortable enough to discuss
talk about it right now. Okay. Then we will talk about it, and we'll get it out.
Thank you.